So I think we're going to review today one of our most anticipated releases that we're looking at.
Look, if the line indication at Buffalo Tracer when this bottle got announced that it was being dropped down there is any indication, probably going to be one of the most sought after things all year.
Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
And I'm Zach.
And today we are going to review Buffalo Trace's most anticipated. I almost said Wild Turkey.
You almost said Wild Turkey. Why? Why did you almost say Wild Turkey?
Because they just released a Wild Turkey 13-year event. And
Russell's 13 event. Yeah.
And so super excited about that. Anyway, today we are reviewing Eagle Rare 12-year.
Stumbling and a bumbling, but he still scores.
We'll get there.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, this is probably going to be one of the most exciting, I don't want to say exciting, one of the most anticipated new bottles coming out, if the line indication from Buffalo Trace tells me anything. Really quick before I start though, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notifications. Check us out on Patreon. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the little fun places that you can
all the little fun places.
So, literally talked to somebody in line down there at Buffalo Trace on Sunday whenever I went and got this.
Yep.
He only ever watches us on TikTok. He's like, I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel. I was like, no kidding.
Well, go subscribe.
Didn't know that.
Well, do your part so we can do ours.
So really quick, this bottle here was released sometime announced that it was being released next week, or like last week sometime. They did like their formal announcement with everything.
Yeah.
At Buffalo Trace. They also, excuse me, they also did a release at Buffalo Trace on Father's Day. There was a whole bunch of rumors last week because, with National Bourbon Day on Saturday of last week, basically like, oh, Buffalo Trace is going to release WLW, or is it going to be a Weller 12 pick or an Elmer pick or whatever. I thought they might do like a Weller 12 pick, and then in our big group chat that we have, Scott pointed out, he's like, I bet you Eagle Rare 12 is probably the play. I was like, oh, that makes the most sense. So, and it sure did.
And it made sense.
I don't know how many bottles they ended up releasing. I think it was like a couple thousand. I've heard different things. I've heard it was 1,000. I've heard it was a couple thousand. I've heard so many different things. To me, I think it was definitely more than 1,000 because the line was super long whenever they opened. They announced it. They had cases upon cases upon cases. They were constantly restocking. And whenever I woke up like around like noon because I'm on night shift. And when I seen it, I was like, please don't let there be a lot. Please don't let there be a lot. So I was like, man, I know we got to get this bottle out, to get the review out.
Yeah.
And I was like, please don't let there. And I'm like, just like looking. And then bam, they're like, yeah, there's plenty. I'm like, fine, I'll go. So it was an hour down, hour and like 45 minutes in line, hour back home. Then I went to work for 12 hours.
It's always fun. It's what you do for the kingdom.
Is that what they say? It's always fun?
It's not always fun. When you miss out, it's definitely not fun.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it's not too bad.
It was definitely a lot in the sense of, while I was in line, first off, met a ton of great people down there, super cool. But it was a little hot on the pavement, and then it poured down rain.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, hey, I should maybe bring my umbrella with me, and I didn't. And then I realized I left my keys in my car. And I was like, I'm already halfway through the snake. I'm like, there's no way. There's security out there. Hope for the best. So, car can get tracked.
Yeah, it can. So there's always that going for it. I mean, all in all, I know Buffalo Trace isn't for their ornate unless it's like something really, really, really special. And considering that this bottle is a $50 bottle.
Yeah, it was like 50 something bucks, I think.
Yeah. So, I was actually hoping they'd do something cool with it. And I guess the copper, we were talking about this last night on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Zach was really hoping it would have been gold.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I think all in all, just a little bit of subtle color difference is cool. But let's hope the liquid inside is good.
Well, it's really funny. in one group chat. Are you in that group chat that we were sitting there just texting back and forth about the design of the bottle and stuff? I think you are. Brandon put out there some different designs of it.
Maybe I might have been.
So I had said something a couple weeks ago that I thought like the black and silver like would look really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like reverse that.
Yeah.
And then because like I think the copper color itself looks good. But then I was like, if you did like a black and gold combination, I thought that would look really good too. And then Brandon, I think used like Chat GPT or whatever and made it all black or whatever and said, I thought it looked super tough.
Blacked out.
Dude, I thought it looked super tough. But
so is this coming in at 95 proof?
yeah, so this is 95 proof. This is 12 years. According to Buffalo Trace, they plan on flooding it with this stuff. Like their goals are, and I did talk to somebody there at Buffalo Trace. They said they are upping the distribution of Eagle Rare in this. So from like the original plans they even had. So like they plan on making this very, very, very available with Eagle Rare. Now, here's my guess. Because, you know, Buffalo Trace produces a lot. A lot.
They do.
But here's my guess. They're going to be like, take like when 1924 just came out you know, last year or whatever. You know, it was here for a minute and it was gone.
Yeah.
Now, I think they're going to consistently produce more of this, like, more often.
Yeah.
Phone check.
No, just pay no attention to the man down.
What? But I think what's eventually going to happen is they are going to get to the point to where it's going to set. It's just going to take time. You know, if you want to complain about hoarders, flippers, whatever, because I did see where somebody traded one of this and $100 for a GTS. Bonkers.
Yeah, you'll regret that at some point.
Bonkers. Wild.
Maybe not in the immediate, but
yeah,
in the long run. Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on this, especially if it's, you know, if it's all right. So at the retail stores, it'll be 65 to 70.
Yeah, it'll depend on it. So they'll probably be a little
depends on where it is. It'll be a little bit of markup, generally speaking. I mean, all in all, I feel like the nose is
awesome.
Yeah.
But you know, the number one thing I would take away from this, and this is totally first whiskey of the day.
Yeah.
Literally just woke up not too long ago. There's not as much grape on there.
No.
That's like the number one thing I've seen. And by the way, this got cracked open like the day of. So I just poured out samples and there you go.
I honestly feel like there's like this little hint of a dusty note on it. Like just a little, I don't know what it is, but it reminds me of some of the dusties I've drank lately. Just ever so subtle, just funky little thing on it.
I think there is a ton of like really great oak on there. It's not super on the nose. It's not super like punchy oak, but it's almost like kind of walk to a rick house a little bit. Like it has like a little bit of that. I understand what you're getting at with like the subtle like dusty notes and stuff on there.
I mean,
I
don't think the grape is in there much at all.
I think there's like maybe like just a smidge of it.
And if you all know what we're talking about, if you've drank Eagle Rare, I think one of the just regular old 10-year Eagle Rare, I think the overwhelming thing on that is it feels very grapey in some ways. The single barrels have a tendency to be a little less like that, and just a little. I think you get all the good notes.
I don't know. I think there's some of them that can be pretty. Which I like that, by the way.
Yeah, no, yeah, I like the grapiness of the Eagle Rare too.
I will say on the nose, instead of it being more like a grape focus, like fruit note, there is more like rounded like fruit notes on there. Like there's more red fruit, a little bit of like almost like a little bit of like a sour strawberry kind of note on there, but like in a really good way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think it's a little more fruity.
And like that, like it is so delicate and soft, but like in like the best of ways. Like it's not like muted. It's not like, you know, it's hard to nose anything, but just like the nose itself, like I feel like they put a lot of time in that for it being so welcoming.
Yeah. I agree with that. And then on the palate, to me, it's not real sweet in any real way. I feel like there's like a little bit of a little more oakiness on this one than what your 10-year has in it.
For sure.
And I like that because it's a little more tannic on it, and I like that aspect of it.
You definitely get a lot more barrel influence on there, but you can also tell, like, and this sounds crazy because, like, 10 years old, like, that's an older bourbon. But you can definitely tell by just the 2 years and maybe just a smidge bump in proof. The proof to me doesn't really, like, stand out.
No.
The only things that I feel like the proof does makes it drink a little bit more mature.
Yep.
And then there's a lot of staying power on the palate to me.
Yes.
Now, this is my first whiskey of the day. I didn't do a warm-up whiskey or anything. But
I felt like this was going to be the warm-up whiskey just because it's 95 proof.
It's kind of like half proof.
Yeah.
But it's still, you have the fruit notes, you have a little bit of vanilla, that oak is still there. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's off profile for Buffalo Trace, but it doesn't drink traditional Buffalo Trace like.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
So, like, whenever I think of, like, traditional Buffalo Trace, like, I do think of, like, that, you know, those fruit notes from a Buffalo Trace bottle. I think of that grape note from Eagle Rare. You know, I kind of think, like, where there's, like, not a finish, and there's a little bit more of a finish with this one.
Yeah.
So, I dig this. Like, this
I
is
like
super
this
crushable.
So, here's the deal. I think there are lots of people out there that aren't Eagle Rare fans, which I totally get. Like, it's a profile, and I get that. I wouldn't turn your nose up at this at all because I think, like, it drinks, I think, a lot different, and because it drinks a lot different, I think it's going to bring some people back to Eagle Rare that maybe have gone, you know what, I'm past Eagle Rare, like, because there are a lot of people like, I'm past Eagle Rare, and I get that, but I think this is a welcome change in a lot of real ways. I dig the palate on this a whole lot. I feel like I think you're right. You said it a little bit earlier. I think the idea of it drinks more mature.
Yeah, it does. And it's silly because I wouldn't think 2 years would be like that.
No, but like even on the finish right now, I feel like the oak stays there on the finish, and it just kind of warms you in a really good way. But it's not like a long finish by any means. But it's a nice finish.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it just drinks. I mean, it just drinks really nice. Like, I will say, if I'm trying to be nitpicking, I would wish that there was more on the finish. But at 95 proof, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
But honestly, it just sits on your palate so well.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's actually really impressive to me. It's just you can feel it on your palate for like a day, it feels like, which for 95 proof. And again, first whiskey of the day. Who knows what it would be like after a few.
Oh, this would get lost in a few. Like if you're
maybe, but I'll say
it's
this.
going to be good. Like you're going to go back. The flavor of it, you're not going to lose that. You may lose the feel of what it's like, the mouthfeel and stuff that it is, but I still think the flavor would stand out and be good.
Smidge of a tobacco leaf note on there too. Yeah, I just think this. Really
I think
Buffalo,
this is really good.
Buffalo Trace did a great job.
Yeah, you did.
And by the way, let me just point out something. I gave a lot of credit for Roses this weekend for the Father's Day bottle only being $100 for 15 years. This only being like 50 something ish bucks, like 60 ish, whatever the MSRP is on this. I'm sorry, I forgot to look at that. They could charge a lot more for what they do. And and I get people are going to argue about artificial scarcity and everything else, but at the end of the day, they could charge a lot more for this, and we would say it's still fair. And to give them credit, they're charging probably less than half.
Yeah.
Or right around half. So.
Yeah, I think all in all, when this comes in your area, if you get Buffalo Trace products in your area at all, it's going to be hard to get the first time it pops in here.
Yeah.
But if you can get it, I would get it because you're still only going to spend, I don't know, $75 to $100 on it, I would guess.
Probably, hopefully less than that. I mean, you're obviously going to have certain stores that will charge more, but like your big box stores or whatever, it should be less.
Yeah, it should be less. And you should take the opportunity to pick it up because it is really, really good. And I'm sad that I couldn't be here to get it.
Why would you be sad? I just went down and got it for you.
I know, but I like a bottle of my own. I mean, I'll drink his too, but...
There we go. That's always the underlining.
All right, tell us when this comes in your area. We'd love to revisit this video and give us a comment on it and tell us what you think about it because I think this is going to be a widespread, really enjoyable whiskey for a really, really reasonable price. And in today's bourbon market, you can always enjoy one of those for sure.
True that.
All right, till next time.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.